My intention with this episode is to give you 3 body-based practices that will help you step into that feeling of being worthy of love, not just thinking you are worthy, but actually feeling it in your body. Welcome to Worthy of Love, the podcast for ambitious, self-aware women who desire to deeply connect to healthy love. Whether you're single or in a relationship already, this show is here to help you slow down, reconnect with your body, and to help you realize that you are capable and worthy of cultivating and maintaining healthy love, even if you have a history of toxic relationships. I am your host, Celia Antonio. I am a certified relationship coach and a certified female sexuality coach, and I am so grateful that you are here. Now let's get into the show. What would change in your life if your body felt deeply worthy of love? I'm not talking just thinking that you're worthy of love, but actually feeling it deep within your bones, deep within your muscles, and within all of your cells. Feeling unworthy of love and feeling like love is something that you have to earn is something that you are not alone in. It is something that is very common. It's a way that I've felt in the past. And so I just want to normalize that this feeling of I don't deserve the love that I am dreaming of, or this feeling of sometimes it shows up as doubting that all of the things you might be listing that you want in a relationship is you asking for too much and having that doubt of like, oh, is this too much? Like, does this even exist? Yeah, so my intention with this episode is to give you 3 body-based practices that will help you step into that feeling of being worthy of love, not just thinking you are worthy, but actually feeling it in your body. And this body-based approach, I'm going to go into first before we dive in, why the body-based approach is so important. And then I will give you these 3 practices. And I'm also excited that this is the first solo episode of Worthy of Love. If you are new here, you might not know that Worthy of Love was existing for the last 4 years on a different podcast name. It was called Openly Spoken. And if you are listening to this while this is live, I am currently transitioning the show into a new name. And yeah, this is episode 1. My name is Celia. If this is your first time here, I am so excited that you are here. You already heard all about me and this podcast and everything in the intro, so I won't repeat myself. So I'll just get into why I believe this like body-based approach is so important. So being someone who's a coach, and before I became a coach, I was a complete self-development junkie. I went to seminars, I read all the books, did the meditations, started a yoga practice, and basically was always searching for ways to grow and ways to step out of my comfort zone. And in these spaces, you often hear the phrase, or at least at the time, the phrase, mindset is everything. And because a lot of people out there take this phrase so literally, mindset is everything, I think they forget that your body set, for lack of a better term, is actually what's everything. It's actually more important. Because if you think about it, when we were born, when we were babies, when we were toddlers, like before we started speaking full drawn out sentences and having full conversations, we were feeling in our bodies. And that is our first kind of state of being, is this sensational experience in our body. And then the words and the thoughts and the mindset, the beliefs, that came second. And so, in my opinion, if you only work on growing yourself by looking at your thoughts, while yes, it is important, I think it could have the potential of being a little too surface level to actually create some like lasting change, to actually create growth that will stick with you forever, because you might not be feeling the new beliefs that you are trying to take on. So, to share an experience that I've had with this piece, just so that you understand why I don't think mindset is everything, and just in case you've had the same experience, so that you can be validated. Um, I was in a program where someone was helping me with my like money mindset, money beliefs. And we floated back to this memory of when I was a kid, and when she asked me to go back to a memory of where I first learned that money was hard to come by. And as I was doing that, and as I was in that memory, some emotion started to come up. And rather than letting me cry for a moment, this coach told me to float out of my body and to observe the memory like from above. And I understand that I think it's an NLP practice. I understand that it is a practice that, works for people, but for me in that moment, it felt very unsafe. It did not feel trauma informed at all. And all I needed in that moment was to just feel. I needed to feel instead of like going into this logical space. And honestly, ever since that moment is when something completely clicked for me, where I was like, oh, mindset is not everything, because beneath mindset, there are things that are more real. There's your energy, your emotions, the way you feel about things, the way you carry your body. Like that is deeper than mindset. And from my opinion, if you just work on mindset, it has the potential of being a little too surface level. And because of that, it might not create long lasting results, in my opinion. When you go through a body based practice where you can feel into a different possibility, in my opinion, I think that is something that sticks with you way longer than saying an affirmation 50 times out loud that you don't like fully believe in. And even if you do believe in it, like, are you feeling it? Let's get into our 3 body based practices to help you feel worthy of love. The first practice is taking a moment to pause and to notice what sensations you feel in your body. So, if you are listening, I invite you to do that right now. Take a moment, notice. What do you feel inside? What do you feel in your hands? What do you feel in your hips? What do you feel in your legs? What do you feel in your chest? What do you feel in your feet? Maybe noticing your body as a whole, scanning slowly from head to toe, noticing what sensations pop out. Sometimes this can be hard because we are not used to pausing and being with sensations. I know for me, when I first started doing this, I could notice sensations, but I didn't really know how to put words to it. So I would be like, in my hips, I can feel something, but like I don't know what that is. And I would still just be with that sensation. And so that's the first practice. And some helpful tips for that. Besides just being with the sensation, knowing that if you tune into your body, let's say you close your eyes and you try to feel what it is you feel in your hands. If you can't feel anything at all, saying out loud, I feel numbness in my hands, from my experience with myself and with coaching clients, labeling the feeling as numbness rather than saying I don't feel anything um, opens you up eventually to more sensation for some reason. I don't know why. Um, and that may or may not be the case for everyone. For all of my episodes, as I say that, for all of my episodes, by the way, just so you know, I want you to take what resonates and leave what doesn't. So if I ever say something that you're like, ugh, I don't believe in that, cool, great. You don't have to. So another part of this practice of feeling into sensation, a little like second layer I want to offer you, is when you close your eyes and you feel whatever sensations it is that are present in your body, whether that is numbness or whether that is something like bubbles or tingles or warmth or tightness or expansiveness or like a jello feeling, or something that can be helpful for this kind of practice too is looking up on Google, looking up a list of sensations. And so the second layer of this is whatever sensations do come up, seeing if you can cultivate or feel a deep acceptance for these sensations. So this can be particularly hard if you tune into your body and you notice numbness. And you might not want to accept the numbness because you don't want to be numb anymore. But accepting the numbness helps your body feel safe. It helps you feel worthy because you are showing yourself love by being like, okay, you're numb and that's okay. This is how you start to feel worthy of love, by showing yourself self-love no matter what. Showing yourself that you are worthy of self-love will help you feel worthy of love outside of the relationship with yourself. So that's the first one. It's feeling into the sensations and accepting the sensations. And this is actually the first step in my breast massage course. It's called Heart Magic. It's a breast massage course for women. Currently, as of the time of this recording, it is on waitlist. And if you want to learn more about it, I might talk about it later in the episode, but I'm also going to include a link in the show notes so you can go check that out. Okay, so the second body-based practice to help you feel worthy of love is self-touch and prioritizing pleasure. And for a lot of women, self-touch and self-pleasure is either something that women are not doing at all, or we are doing it from a place where it is very much based on what we see in porn, and it's very much based on um, like society's view of female sexuality, which is not accurate. Society is very undereducated about female sexuality, and you can see that once you educate yourself about female sexuality, you can see that the world is not educated about female sexuality, because you see it in TV shows, you see it in commercials, you see it in movies, you see it in media. You see that there's just one uh, facet of sexuality that is shown, and it's almost always based on this like male sexuality, this like being ready very quickly and being ready to go right then and there. And that's just not realistic. And so when you prioritize self-touch and when you engage in self-pleasure, part of the challenge is really slowing down with your body. And again, like we did in the previous step where we developed acceptance for the inner sensations, when you go into self-touch, developing acceptance for whatever it is that comes up. So what do I mean by this? What I mean by this is, if you make in your schedule, let's say in your calendar, you're like, okay, Wednesday night, at this time, I am going to be locked in my bedroom and I'm going to have time for self-touch with myself. If you happen to not be feeling it, um, accepting that, not forcing yourself through it, and knowing that there is always a way to prioritize self-pleasure without overriding your body. And so rather than using a toy, for example, if you're really not into it, just using your hands and maybe not using penetration at all. Rather than getting naked, let's say you don't want to take off your clothes at all that day, cool. Don't do that. And instead, maybe you take your fingertips and very gently brush them across your arm, like I'm doing in this video if you are watching the video. Maybe your self-pleasure practice for a day could be taking the moment to slow down with every single bite of your lunch. Prioritizing self-pleasure does not have to be sexual. Um, I think it's very powerful if it can be sexual. However, getting to that point where you have more capacity for sexual self-pleasure that is healthy, that's not a place you can get to if you override your body's truth. So if you force yourself there, you're not actually going to get there because it's not going to be genuine. Your body's not going to feel safe. And if your body's not going to feel safe, your body's not going to open up. And so if you are listening to this and self-pleasure and self-touch is something that is totally new for you, start with just brushing your fingertips very softly all over your whole body. Maybe you just do it on your arms for a second. You can even be doing it while you're listening to the show. Very gently, just brushing your right fingertips across your left arm and just going back and forth and just really taking a moment to pause and see how that feels. And maybe as you continue to do that, you go back to the first practice and notice all the sensations that are coming up. Let's move on. So, the third body-based practice to feel worthy of love, of self-love and external love, is to dance with your emotions. So if you are feeling anger, I know anger is a big one. So out of all of the emotions, I'm going to focus on anger because I noticed that anger is a big one that comes up with my clients where they don't feel safe to feel anger, or they haven't felt safe to feel anger in so long that they can't even really access their anger anymore. So I'll use anger as an example. Taking a playlist that has songs that invoke that emotion in you. Maybe there's a certain genre that when you listen to it, you just feel like an activist or like a warrior, or like you feel this like angry, passionate energy coursing through you when you listen to this kind of music. Playing that and then using the practice of dance to move with your emotions and to completely let go of being on beat or looking good or the dance moves being like an actual dance move, or letting go of how ridiculous you might look. Doing this in your own living room is a great safe space to not be judged by the outside world, but also notice if you judge yourself and see if you can just completely let go and let your intuition feel these emotions and move through these emotions. And so with these emotions, you would feel like to dance with your emotions, you would feel in your body, where is it that this emotion lives? And from that as the center point, that is where you would start moving from. And with this kind of practice, you would just be very, very present as you continue to move and breathe. and let the emotion kind of like take you on a little journey. And usually, after one, two, maybe even three songs, the emotion will kind of shift a bit. Maybe it turns into something else. Maybe you realize what was underneath your anger. And it can be a very beautiful, very simple practice to do daily to help you realize that you are worthy of love because your emotions matter and your emotions are worthy enough to have some time to be felt and to be processed. And so, all of these practices that I have given you in this episode, they all send a message to your subconscious, to your higher self or your soul or whatever it is that you want to label that as. It sends the message that I matter because I am taking this chunk of time out for what is true within myself. And if you want to deepen this kind of work, if you want to dive into a body-based practice that will help you feel worthy of love, I invite you again to Heart Magic. Heart Magic is my breast massage course for women. I originally launched it in 2022, and it's been kind of a living library ever since then. And it has multiple different breast massage practices on there. And it not only has breast massage practices, but it has supportive tools in there to help you with the journey. So, to help you with emotions that come up, I have embodiment practices in there to help you with emotions that come up. It has certain principles that you can bring into each practice. Like, for example, one of them is a principle where I talk about how it's okay to just sit and listen to an audio of a practice and not actually do it, especially if it's your first time, so that you can listen to it all the way through. And then the next time you go into it, you know what to expect. That could be a little bit more trauma informed. So there are tips and tricks and things in there to help you ease into the practice. And I really love this course. It is really something that I created from my heart because the breast massage practice was so transformative for me and was kind of like the starting point for me really feeling more worthy of love and for me really feeling more deeply connected to my body. So, again, like I said, as of the time of this recording, it is on waitlist, but maybe you're listening to this in the future, so it might be open. And I will include the link in the show notes below. So you can add your name in or join us if it's about to start. And yeah, that is it for today. I hope that these practices help you, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye.